Hi-ho, everybody. This is Fido Kennington welcoming you to the 4th episode of Hey Man, Nice Kiss Shirt. This week's Kiss shirt, Asylum, US Tour 85-86. Our buddy Scotty, FL Dog 71, noticed a trend, 80s Kiss shirts. Well, it's more a trend of chronology, and I'm just trying to start with my earliest Kiss shirt and kind of work my way through the years. So pretty soon, things are going to be fitting a little better around here. I won't have to wear shirts that I've had for pushing 40 years. Good times. Let's just get right into it. Once again, a reminder that I'm taking you through week by week. Rock and roll all night and journal every day. It's all for you demons. Sets us up with great questions every week, every day. So those of you who have got a copy of this, follow along. We're going to jump into January 22nd. Are you team Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park or Attack of the Phantoms? What makes one film better than the other? I wrote, I'm Team Phantom of the Park. The only thing that makes Attack better is the inclusion of Kiss music. It also cuts out Ace dialogue. How can you have that film without she wants a rocket ride, she wants a rocket, shh. I mean, you gotta have that. It's essential. The main thing that makes Phantom of the Park better than Attack of the Phantoms, nostalgia. I'll never forget. There was something going on at church on a Saturday night. So I'm out to dinner with the grandparents and a couple of their friends here in Flint, Michigan, Venus Coney Island. And it's like pushing 8 o'clock. And they're having coffee and pie, and I'm just impatiently tapping my toes, staring at my Mickey Mouse watch, just wondering when we're going to get the hell out of there. I ended up missing the opening credits to Phantom, but I mean, it took years. Not sure exactly when I finally just saw somebody's bootleg copy years later. Was able to see the very beginning of the film, but man, that was, I know a lot is said by some of the other OG Kiss fans about, that's when Kiss jumped the shark, but I don't know. I think I was just the right age for Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. It was pretty amazing. All right. January 23rd asks, it's 1977. You can see Kiss at the LA Forum or Madison Square Garden. Which venue do you choose and why? For me, it's no question. I'm going to the Forum because Cheap Trick opened those shows. That's a huge band for me. First time I saw Kiss on Dynasty was Cheap Trick opening. Not to mention, those Forum shows were recorded for Alive 2. The I Was There button that I ended up getting the next year, actually 2 years later, at the Dynasty show, they had leftovers of those buttons, but they didn't have leftovers of the t-shirts. They had I Was There live at the LA Forum. I believe there was a typo on the back of those shirts, but yeah, there's a lot of surrounding perks as to why I would choose those Forum shows. The Madison Square Garden shows, beginning of '77. I think that was Kiss's first time at the Garden, so it was exciting and emotional for them, but by some accounts, the You know, the performance wasn't as good. And personally, Sammy Hagar opened. I love the first Montrose record. It's my favorite Sammy. But man, between him and Cheap Trick at the Forum, yeah, like I said, no contest. Plus, those Forum shows coincided with Gene's birthday. California Sun, fun. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So that's moving on to January 24th. What is the most inspirational advice you've ever heard from Gene Simmons? You're dying to be seen, and you wave and call my name. But in the din, it seems that I'm a million miles away. Obviously, lyrics to Great Expectations. Is it advice? Not technically, but inspirational, definitely. I got that record, and I mean that's what really kicked it off. I mean, I was aware of Kiss for a while before Destroyer came out, but just hunkering down with headphones or just sitting. I remember sitting with my back against the wall, like between speakers, my grandparents' hi-fi, just listening to that record over and over again. And you know, the double entendre, you hear a lot now about the lyrics are cringy or whatever. That didn't mean anything to 5-year-old me. I didn't really pick up on all the nuances of, each line of that song, but you see me beating my drum and you know what my hands can do. I already knew at that point I wanted to be a drummer. Many years later, when we were naming, my friends and I started a Kiss tribute band and we were naming it, I suggested Great Expectations and was kind of surprised that it didn't get shot down, but that just goes to show you how cool my friends are and were. So yeah, inspirational Gene Simmons, Great Expectations. January 25th. Where is the most unique place you've ever found Kiss merchandise? What was it? How much did you pay? And do you still have it? This is kind of tough. As far as unique places, I mean, you get stuff at shows. It's not really unique. You get stuff at Spencer's in the 70s, which it's not terribly unique. I've got a couple of things. My friend Eddie, well, you might be able to see in the background a boot shell for Gene's Dragon Boot from Kiss Replicas, David P's handiwork. One of these days I'll have Eddie on to tell the story of how he got the boots and how he ended up with an extra boot shell and was kind enough to pass it along to me, the keeper of all things Kiss. Well, all things that I can find. He also, same friend, Eddie, he went to a job wearing a Kiss t-shirt, and the guy that contracted him noticed and said, "Oh, you like Kiss?" And Eddie was, of course, yeah. And "Oh, I got a couple of things, man. Maybe you'd like this." And he disappears for a minute. He comes back with the belt buckle, Destroyer, on the back. Still has the it's a Pacifica, of course. It still has the Kiss 1976 A Coin Management. You probably can't see that, but I'll throw a graphic up here of the belt buckle. Again, very cool of Eddie to hook me up on that. I had an extra Spirit of 76 tour poster and I traded it to Eddie for the belt buckle. There was a place when I lived in Missouri in the early 80s called the Jean Shack, and I got a decent chunk of Kiss 8 tracks there. You could call that a unique place that I found Kiss merch. It was really weird. It was like a used record store, used clothing store, hence the name Jean Shack. They didn't have much in the way of any other clothes, just used jeans. It was I haven't ever seen a place like that again, but yeah, nice little let's see here. I can do this without dumping them all over the place. Nice little stack of Kiss 8 tracks. This one I thought about this earlier. Speaking of It's All For You, Demon, Peter Criss, Rick had posted Peter's 8 track with this special offer card, fan club, the Canoga Park address. Good times. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's the Jean Shack was a unique place to find Kiss merch. Also got the wristbands at Jean Shack. Dun-dun-dun. Moving along to January 26th. List all of your favorite memories from the first year you became a Kiss fan. Now this one's kind of difficult for me. I was too young, really. And too much time has passed for me to list all of my favorite memories. I mean, I was not even 3 years old. I was just about 3 when I saw Kiss on Mike Douglas. And, I mean, that was, that burns into your brain. But a lot of my Kiss memories from that time, I mean, a lot of my memories, I should say, aren't Kiss memories. I used to have a guy come to the house, and he tested my IQ, my aptitude. It was like screening for preschool, because I started reading when I was 2, and having adult conversations with anyone who would make eye contact. I was just a weird little kid. So he used to come around. He's an occupational therapist, and he'd test me, and we'd listen to records, and we'd read books. I have memories of that guy. I remember him being fairly amused, coming over one time, having records to play for me, things to talk about. He had his agenda, and I just wanted to like listen to Kiss on his record player. The next year came along, so like Christmas '75, my older cousin hooked me up with his copy of Alive because he spilled Coke on it. The gatefold stuck together, and it was warped. The vinyl wasn't warped, but the paper was warped, and he got a new copy for Christmas, so he handed me down his, and that really got me going. Obviously, that's when you start to become a fan, when you have an album that you can listen to over and over and over again. But yeah, then it wasn't until the following year, my 5th birthday, getting Destroyer and joining the Kiss Army, and the rest is history. But yeah, as far as the first year that I was a Kiss fan, I just remember being scared to death of that Bat Lizard guy on TV. January 27. This one goes a bit in depth. Create a 10-question history exam below. So what I'm going to do is just give you my quiz questions. Invite you in the comments to answer. I mean, obviously, Google is your friend, but I'm hoping you don't have to resort to that. I'm hoping there's enough of you out here that know these, although I kept it pretty challenging. I didn't want really too many softball questions, so let's get into them. First question, who sang backups on Love Gun from the album Love Gun? Number 2, what's the shortest degree of separation from Kiss to the Beatles? Connect in as few steps as possible. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You get the idea. Musicians that have played together that would connect Kiss to the Beatles. Number 3, which opening act has played with Kiss most often? Number 4, this one's going to be a little tougher for some of you. On February 18th, 1974, Casablanca threw a party to celebrate their launch, as well as the release of the first record. It was themed after the film Casablanca. There was a Humphrey Bogart type in a white smoking jacket, and they had casino games for the guests. And there were first and second prizes awarded to the guests who won the most chips. I think there was like a roulette table. I don't know if they had a poker table or a blackjack table, but they gave away first and second prizes for the winningest guest. So if you can guess both prizes awarded at the Casablanca coming out party, you're awesome. If you can name the first prize, that's fine too. Number 5, throughout history, how many drummers have worn the Catman makeup? Number 6, name the magician who taught Gene to spitfire. Number 7, on Gene's solo tune from the 78 album, Living in Sin, who are the 2 female voices on the phone? Number 8, who played the guitar solo on Lonely as the Hunter from Animalize? Number 9, which 60s band wrote a song from which Ace lifted the solo for She? That's a fairly easy one, I think. Now this one, number 10, I saved the doozy for last. Now granted, this is from 16 magazine, so whether it's stone cold true or not, we'll never know. I tend to think not. But according to a 1980 16 magazine interview, what is Peter Criss's favorite home-cooked meal? Yeah, I'm looking forward to confronting whichever Kiss nerd among you answers that last question. I think there's a couple of you out there that know this, so that ought to be fun. Moving on to January 28th. Which era of Kiss do you find the least visually appealing? Have you or would you purchase posters from this era? I wrote, Asylum may seem like the low-hanging fruit here, but at least that era was like a train wreck eye magnet. I mean, gaudy as hell. That was probably the most colorful era of Kiss. Not really a great fit, I don't think. It didn't really fit the image, but at least you couldn't look away. But by comparison, Lick It Up Animalize was pretty boring. At least Animalize gave them more of a unifying concept, and Mark St. John was slightly less difficult to look at than Vinnie Vincent. But their overall Lick It Up fashion didn't stand out from their contemporaries. And come on, Gene, what's with all that rouge? At that point, Gene still hadn't figured out how to lighten his touch with makeup. So yeah, I think overall, Lick It Up is just kind of meh. I mean, once the novelty wore off of seeing them without the makeup, they faltered for a little bit there. That's going to take us to the end of the week. 7 questions, rock and roll all night, and journal every day. Courtesy of It's All For You Demon, and courtesy of me, right here on Hey Man, Nice Kiss Shirt. It's good to be with you. Keep the comments coming. As always, put your 2 lips together, kiss that subscribe button, and remember, play hard, play fair, nobody hurt.